Hello guys, welcome to another tier list here on Tier List Maker. I'm going to be doing that is centered around fighting games, video games as a whole. I'm going to make the playlist for these soon. I've uploaded a few now. I haven't actually made the playlist yet, but I'm going to make that up soon. Maybe made it by the time I make this video. This one today is going to be Tekken Tag Tournament 1 characters ranked in a tier list. A request I had from Master T on the track, so thank you for watching Tekken 2, tier list Master T on the track, and thank you for the request. I'd also recently uploaded Street Fighter 2 tier list. I had a request from Kyle Sandman, and Kyle had requested that after I'd actually already made it, but I've uploaded that since. So Kyle, if you're watching, thank you for the request. Master T, if you're watching, thank you for the request. Like I said, guys, just leave down comments below if you do have any ideas on tier lists that you want me to make, and I'll duly oblige. This one I was going to make anyway. I'm really excited for because Tekken Tag Tournament 1 is, in my opinion, probably still the best Tekken game, actually. Although I think Tekken 5 is really good. My favourite is Tekken 2. I think it always will be. Tekken 3 is really fucking good as well. Tag Tournament 2 is good. I feel like 6 and 7 lost a bit of the shine of the series. 4's a bit hit and miss. Never really played much 4, but Tekken Tag 1 I fucking love. It's just like Tekken 2. It's every character in the series up to that point, I think. Although you consider there was like 2 Kings and 2 Kumas, so it's just 1 King or 1 Kuma in. And it kind of, not to extent of future Tekken games, we've kind of brought juggling in a bit more. I've seen like tournaments played of this, and you can juggle quite a lot. So we got all the characters down here. Now we've got King of Iron Fist. I didn't change any of these ratings. King of Iron Fist got God tier. Then we've got Great. There's going to be A, Good B, OK C, and Chicken apparently is D. So we start, guys. Have we got Mokujin? Looks like a skin. Tetsujin / Mokujin. Oh, we do have Mokujin. Well, Tetsujin's basically the same. I don't think there's. I can't put them in anything other than OK. They're just mirrors, of course. It puts all the mirror characters at the start, actually. Unknown is. There's not much more to say about Tetsujin. We're going to move straight on to Unknown. Unknown has got to be ranked higher, but again, I just put it in C because it can randomize into any character. To be fair to Unknown, you can press R3 repeatedly until you get a character that you want. You can usually tell by the stance. The certain ones are giveaways, of course. Say, for example, you get Yoshimitsu for random. It's better with Mokujin or Tetsujin because you see the actual sword. I'm not entirely sure Unknown holds a sword. I think you can just tell by a hand position. But Unknown, final boss of the game, pretty cool design. It's Jun that's like warped by Dark. It was always a theory actually in Tekken Tag 1, and I don't think it was ever confirmed into Tekken Tag 2. But both games are non-canonical. But yeah, just the sheer fact that they're just random. I think I can't put them. It's the perfect rating, basically, average. I'm gonna put Mokujin ahead of Tetsujin because he's the OG. I actually like his look better. Tetsujin looks pretty sick. Tiger Jackson is just Eddie, basically. Eddie's really good in these games. I kind of hate fighting against him and fighting against humans who use Eddie because he's such a bitch character. It's like spam me and stuff. But definitely deserves his position in good. Anytime there's a character that's just like a complete rip of another character, to be honest, I'm gonna put lower. So Yoshimitsu will probably end up in the same tier because they're basically the same character. Eddie, sorry. But I prefer ranking like the OGs higher than the palette swaps, if you like. The more I think about it, the more Eddie should probably end being great. Eddie's pretty useful in the old, in every Tekken really, but took the older ones. So I'm going to put Tiger Jackson as a direct byproduct of that in great. Brian Fury 100% is going in great, above Tiger / Eddie. In my opinion, Brian is one of the strongest characters in Tekken 3, Tekken Tag, pretty much any Tekken game, to be honest. Brian's strong in all of them. I don't think he belongs in the very, very elite, but boys, he's not far off. He's going to be pretty high up in great, I think. Number of really good combos. He has a few 5-hit combos. He has pretty varied attacks, like sweeps, mids, and highs. One of my favourite combos in the entire game. It deals a lot of damage. Is when you press back, triangle, square, triangle with Brian. And he kind of spins with a couple of hits, then goes into like a real power punch, like a Mach punch. Just a cool character, cool design. As always with Brian, he's got a pretty sick ending where he's facing off against Yoshimitsu. It's a really good character, Brian, and I feel like he's just a staple of the series now. Like he has to be in every game. Eddie, I basically said it all with Tiger. He's elusive. He's hard to hit. Definitely annoying going against him. The computer, you can like sidestepping is more of a thing in this game. There's a couple of good sidestep attacks. Some of his grapples are pretty cool. But yeah, he's kind of a beginner character because you can't just spam and do bits. But if you know what you're doing, you're a bit more measured as well. He's still really effective. You can set up a number of good combos. Props to him for being what I think is the original Capoeira character in fighting games. Now, I'd made a list after I got the request of all Tekken characters ranked on the whole. I feel like this game might be quite similar to that, guys, because a number of these characters don't appear again for quite a long while. One of them is Angel. Angel's up next. Angel for sure is going in great. I think stronger than Tekken 2 Angel, because it adds a couple of combos, but it doesn't have many. I think I'm going to put her behind Brian, but ahead of Eddie. Just a watered down Kazuya, basically. I think Kazuya has an extra few moves. Angel has pretty sure the same moves as Devil. Maybe a couple of differences. It was the last game before she came back in Tekken Tag 2, although there's the odd sign of Angel like flickered behind Kazuya, basically, in future games. But yeah, it was a cool character. I look at these tier lists, like I said, in Street Fighter 1 or the Tekken 2 or the all Tekken characters 1. I kind of look at it as who would I be happiest to get, same playing team battle and I randomize it and get 8 characters, who would it be happiest to get? Angel would be one of the characters I would be happiest to get. Also has a pretty sick swap out move where you like launch the opponent, tag in, and then like do the lasers. I don't know if that's in this game or Tekken Tag 2 actually, but that was really fucking cool. Beck is going to be A tier again. Again, similar to Eddie, he's kind of a kick spam character. But just like Tekken 2, Beck's pretty strong. Largely similar to Hwoarang. Hwoarang's kind of his protege, and they don't have identical movesets, but 95% of the movesets they probably share. But again, like I said in the all Tekken characters one, I would lean more towards Beck just because he's the OG. I'm going to put him there, I think, behind Angel. So I'm probably better with Angel than Beck. But he's going to end up ahead of Hwoarang. However, they deserve to be in the same tier. You know, the palette swaps effectively, so they have to be in the same tier. But Beck's always useful. It can be tough to fight against his computer because he just has, similar to what I said in Tekken 2, tier Australia, he just has so many long ass combos. He has a few extra throws in this game. You know, tag adds maybe 20%, 30% to the moveset. And it just made him slightly more OP, even. He's a solid character back. I've never really been that warm to him. I don't really warm up to spam characters much, to be quite honest. But he's still very useful, and I've got to speak objectively here. If I get back, I'm very confident in being able to take any, definitely AI-controlled player. Kunimitsu, I'm going to put in good. I think I put her in this tier in Tekken 2. She's better in this game, 100%. She has, I feel like this game, of all like the things that used to be palette swaps, she is made to be a fair bit different than Yoshimitsu. I think it's like the biggest gap in difference the game made between characters. Yeah, it's pretty strong. I don't think she's as good as Yoshimitsu. He has a number of attacks, and I mean quite a number actually. Now I think of it, that are different. He can do the sit down, heal attack. To be fair, this might be the first palette swap where they're in different tiers. Spoiler alert for Yoshi. I'm considering that now. In fact, I'm going to put Yoshimitsu in right now. I'm going to skip ahead because it seems fitting. And yeah, I'm going to put him in A tier. I feel like Yoshi is... My heart wants to put him ahead of all of them except Brian, to be honest. But in reality, he's probably low down on this. I'd say he's probably worse than Eddie to use. But Kunimitsu normally, I'd say, is a good character. Normally, maybe should make great, but I can't ignore the fact that Yoshimitsu is just a better alternative to her. If you want to play that moveset, them styles, Yoshimitsu is just better. He can heal, he can teleport, he can fly. Kuni can't really do much of that, but she's still pretty useful. She's still quick, like Yoshimitsu, and the moves she shares with him are really good. But I think Yoshimitsu's just got a cooler design as well. You know, I'm aware I'm kind of discussing both of them, ranking 2 at one tier, but I feel like it's necessary. Kunimitsu I just never liked as much as Yoshimitsu, who is the OG, one of the OG playable characters. So yeah, I think it's probably fair to split them here, but there's not a huge amount between them, honestly. However, I'd lean more towards Yoshimitsu should maybe being good rather than they should both be great. However, Yoshi's going to get the slight nod and get promoted to great. Kunimitsu's not far behind though. Wang Jinrei, I love Wang. I'm going to put him in great, 100%. I'm going to put him ahead of Eddie, below Beck though, I think. Right there in the middle at the moment. Similar to Tekken 2, like I said, I mean, I do this video on request, but I was going to do it anyway. However, not a huge amount differs between my Tekken 2 tier list because a lot of the characters haven't evolved quite as much as maybe from say like Tekken 5 to 7, the equivalent gap of games. But they do add a lot of moves, and it's kind of similar to what I said about Wang in that video. He shares a lot of moves with Michelle and Julia, and they're two of my strongest characters, particularly Michelle in Tekken 2 was my main. They have sort of differences, but his different moves are pretty sick as well. Honestly, the more I think about it, the more I'm going to put Wang just behind Brian, but ahead of Angel. The moves he shares with Michelle are some of the best he could share. His extra moves are pretty badass. He has a couple of like really strong punches, not on the level of Paul's that like can near enough one shot or definitely leave the opponent really weak. But he has a couple of them. He has a couple of variants. He can do one that does like maybe 60 damage and another one that does like 120 damage or something. If you like wanna vary it up based on how quick you think your opponent's going to get up. He has a lot of good launches. Now that is important for this game because, like I said, it did bring juggling into a degree. It's harder to do than future games, and it was kind of a bit of a new concept back then, a bit of an untried concept. The games are kind of balancing it out, but I actually think it's the best. I think Tekken games, I think fighting games in general, like focus way too much on juggles nowadays. To the extent that it's bullshit, you can play a modern Tekken and get like it's just a race to get the opponent in the fucking air first, and then you do like half damage, 3/4 damage in one combo. So if they're against the wall, and you're just like, oh, do you know what I mean? It's just like it's not as fun. This game was much better where you could juggle and chip opponents for maybe like a fair at best. But Wango's definitely one of the better characters for that, in my opinion. And I've always been a fan. Definitely deserves this position in great. Kuma. I rank Kuma low. I think it was Kuma and Ganryu in the lowest tiers in Tekken 2. This is going to be the first real major difference. I think Kuma's pretty good on this game. Adds a lot of unique moves. The hitbox thing isn't as important in this game because of just the scale and the sizes they made and like just how the hitboxes work. I feel like the characters are a lot more balanced in terms of the hitboxes in this game. Also in Tekken 2, it takes you fucking forever to get back up off the floor. And it's not as bad. This game's just a lot smoother, a lot more fluid. And all this helps Kuma. He has his extra moves I really like. They're very varied in terms of low, middle, and high. They added some Tenet combos for him, I think. Just some badass moves, like the salmon move was really fucking good. He does like his little roll. He does his thing. I think he's got it in this game where he kind of goes into like on all fours as if he's gonna like charge. But then you can do a lot of different moves. All these things considered, I'm gonna put Kuma up in good. Yeah, again, spoiler alert, because I love these games, I'm kind of hitting the fighting games that I love and I'm best at the most. Again, most characters are probably going to end up above average here. All of them above average right now, except like the mirror characters, pretty much. Kuma is still lowest of all of them right now, still, because I was just never great with Kuma, but he definitely comes on leaps and bounds here. And he's not going to finish last amongst the characters that are not like gimmicky, for sure. But I don't think he deserves to be above Kunimitsu, just because the speed is still a bit of an issue. But pretty solid character, and it's from this game onwards really where I began to like using Kuma. Although maybe Tekken 3, I should say. Definitely in Tekken 1 and 2, he's not as effective. Lee Chaolan goes straight away, 100% into King of Iron Fist. Lee didn't make God tier in Tekken 2, so this is a difference as well. There's only one character I put in God tier in Tekken 2, that's Kazuya. But Lee just gets better in each of these games up until I don't think he was that great in Tekken 7, to be honest. I had a warm to him, but it wasn't quite as good. I think he took a couple of combos off in Tekken 7 I was fuming about the Azanir. But again, a lot of what I said on the Tekken 2 video applies to Lee. He's just super fast. He's not spammy, but he does have a lot of good kicks. But he also has a lot of decent combos, and they added a few for this game. I think he may well have his square, triangle, triangle, X combo in this game, which I love. He's still got his down for circle combo, which is really effective. He can sweep. He can do a standing sweep, which I think's new for this game. He can do a somersault. He can also do a crouching sweep. He can backflip. He can go into his stance, where he has a really fucking badass special grapple. If you press R2, then X. I say R2. That's X and circle, by the way. I used to just map R2 to that. So yeah, you go X and circle together, then X, and that's one of my favourite moves in the entire series. He's just fucking so good, man. He's like a combination of Law and I want to say Paul, kind of. No, I don't think so, actually. I think he just shares a lot of moves with Law, who's also one of the best characters in every Tekken. But then he has a few of his own unique moves. But definitely, like, I would say I might change my mind when I get to each character, but before I start this, I would have predicted Lee's probably in my like top 5, 100%. He probably is in every Tekken, to be honest, but definitely I feel like Tekken Tag is one of the strongest games. Next up we have Lei. I've just never been that good with Lei. So that in Tekken 2, he's improved on this game because the extra moves he gets adds a bit of variety. I've just never been that good. I'm going to put him in okay. First character, it's not a mirror character that goes in okay. Yeah, but I don't know. I never like fighting against them. I never really like using them. I feel like his combos are very gimmicky. Like, you have to lie on the floor first and then sweep an opponent and shit. He goes into all these stances. It does increase the amount of stances he has on this game. But the fact that the game becomes more fluid kind of actually hinders him compared to Tekken 2. It's not like it hinders him as a character. It makes every character better. But he was more effective in Tekken 2 because of the amount of time people spent on the floor. Because Lei was one of like the quicker characters, the more agile characters in Tekken 2. In this game, a lot of characters' agility and fluidity gets increased. It's kind of like comparing Street Fighter 2 to Street Fighter 2 Turbo is kind of the equivalent. And that actually kind of hinders him in comparison to the rest of the characters. There's not much more to say about Lei. I'm just not massive on him. I never have been really. So I'm just gonna put him in okay, but I will put him ahead of these characters because yeah, them three characters of course are miscellaneous, I feel like. Parang, just behind Beck. Nothing more to say about that. Everything I said about Beck kind of applies to Parang. Yeah, he's just that character. Ganryu, as like Kuma, ranked really low in Tekken 2 because of the fluidity issue and the hitbox, etc. Again, like Kuma, he's better on this game, but I don't think he makes it beyond okay. I'm going to put him behind Lei. Decent-ish character. I'm okay with Ganryu. So this is probably the game I'm best with Ganryu, to be fair. Except maybe Tekken 5. I don't know. But again, like if I was to randomize them all, like it's who I'd be happiest using, and I'd kind of brace myself getting Ganryu. Like, oh shit, this could be tough, and I'm probably dead soon. He has a few extra special throws, pretty sick. I can't think of too many more combos. It's been a long while since I played this game. Probably should have played a bit in practice, but I mean, there's so many characters, it'd take ages. I'm going off memory here, in that Ganryu I don't think is much to write home about. Just family and average, not bad, but not great. Roger, it's more like it. I don't think I'm going to rank Roger as highly as I did in Tekken 2, though. I think he's, given the smaller health bar in that game, and given the fact that everyone had maybe, like, I don't know, half the amount of moves they have in Tekken 2 compared to this game. I feel like Roger, all of his best moves in this game, he had in Tekken 2. So I think I put Roger and Alex in great last time. I'm going to put them good this time. Higher than Kunimitsu and Kuma. And this one's a bit controversial, to be honest, because shares a lot of moves with King and Honor King, who are two of my better characters. Yeah, I just don't think the additional moves were quite as good for this game. Nothing springs to mind, to be honest, and that's got to be telling. Characters I love, if we're talking favorite characters, Roger and Alex will always be like in my top 10, 100%. But I don't think I'm gonna rank him higher than good. And is Alex on this list? I don't think he is. Yeah, I think it was just a direct palette swap there. I was gonna say if Alex was on again, it'd just be. Oh, he is. Okay. Exact same. I've just got to put him behind. I was slightly preferred Roger. I mean, they're basically the same on this game. I'm pretty sure they are. Just the exact same, but I like kangaroos better than dinosaurs. I've some put Roger above. Look at his tie. Look. Well, how can you not rank him above Alex? Although I love both of them. Panda, I fucking cannot stand Panda. I don't know why. I think it's just just cringy, like awful. But it also goes with Xiao Yu, and I hate Xiao Yu. It's basically the same moves as Kuma, so you'd think I'd put it behind, and I probably should, to be honest, but no. Panda, you going at the bottom. It's just like a bit too cutesy, kind of like cringe fest when Panda's there, like dressed in pink, or like they'll dress it in tutus, give it like balloons, and they have these like awful like anime fucking endings and shit with Xiao Yu, and it's just like, oh no, thank you. You've got Kuma. It's just a fucking waste of a character. Like, why? Okay, it's probably like a palette swap. Well, I think it's like on the same character box. But yeah, I just always felt like with Panda, it's a waste of game data having it in there, to be honest. Bruce Irvin, 100% going in great. I'm going to put Bruce. I really like Bruce. Was ahead of Wang in Tekken 2. I'm mumming and ahhing about this. To be honest, I think Bruce should be ahead of. I think in this game, Bruce is really fucking good. I think the extra moves he gets are worth putting him in King of Iron Fist, to be honest. I'm quite surprised at that. I didn't expect that. made him think it through, but I wouldn't have expected that. But he has so many good launcher moves, and that is what launches him up, get the pun, to King of Iron Fist territory. He's just very good. He also, I was umming and ahhing about how effective his grapples are, his grapple chains in Tekken 2. I feel like they're harder to do in that. It adds to it in this game. Bruce is one of the characters. If I was picking 8 in team battle, I'd probably go with. I feel like I'd go with him maybe 50% of the time. There's other characters I'd probably go with every time, like Lee. So he ends up behind Lee in that regard. But he has one of the coolest movesets. He's fast. He's agile. He has a lot of variety in high, middle, low, like Lee. He's just badass, man. And yeah, I feel like him and Brian are close. I was kind of tempted to put Brian in King of Iron Fist then, but I think there's enough of a difference in class between Bruce and Brian in this game to separate them. Bruce may well end up being one of the low ones in King of Iron Fist. But yeah, I think he deserves to be there. Kazuya Mishima, just like Tekken 2, 100% going in King of Iron Fist. However, guys, he's not as OP as in Tekken 2. And for the first time, I'm going to put him lower than certain characters. The question is, where does he fit here? I'm going to put Brian in God tier. And I'm going to put Kazuya at the bottom there for now. Every move that he has in Tekken 2, he still has in this game, but other characters get improved more. Yeah, he's just not quite as OP. Obviously, they up the health bar as well, and Kazuya doesn't have as damaging combos as any other three that are ahead of him, I feel like. But he's still really fucking good, and he definitely deserves to be in King of Iron Fist. I love his fucking like cameo, I want to say, in the opening cinematic. That's fucking badass. He's got like his duster on. It's like, yeah, it's like he looks sick. In terms of character effectiveness, Kazuya's pretty well matched against everyone. I always find. So he's like a really good character to pick in that. I wouldn't say he's for beginners. If you want to like master Kazuya, it can be tough. They had a couple of moves. I think he does this forward, down, forward, circle, axle kick, and he can sweep it into a square punch. His stun punch is still pretty effective, where you rise and press triangle, but it doesn't stun them quite as long and isn't quite as OP as Tekken 2. Swim piston spam, I feel like, is a bit easier on this game, where you can pull off a couple of them. The center combos are still the same, I think, but due to the extra fluidity in the game, it's probably slightly easy to pull them off, which works in his favour. But I don't know, something in me is telling me that I wasn't quite as effective with Kazuya in this game compared to Tekken 2, and that's kind of through no fault of his own. It's just that other characters get risen to a level that's better. Kazuya's had such an advantage in fluidity in Tekken 2 compared to any other character in the game, except maybe Law or Lee. But you added a moveset. He definitely deserves to stand alone. On this game, other characters kind of caught him up. So I'm going to put him in King of Iron Fist, but I'm going to put him behind. I'm going to put him ahead of Brian, but behind Bruce and Lee. Heihachi, I think in this game he's better than Kazuya. I think he definitely belongs in King of Iron Fist. To be honest, he's in King of Iron Fist in every fucking Tekken game. Heihachi's really good, and I've always liked using him. He doesn't have quite as many like standing combos as Kazuya, but he has a lot more kick combos. Like I should say, he doesn't have as many punch combos. They do add a few though. They add the ones where like you kind of his old square triangle triangle. You can press square triangle triangle then square and triangle together, and he kind of does this like kind of similar to what Feng would do. He does this like push. It's almost like a Hadouken motion that just launches them back. He also has a couple of extra special grapples. I think in this game he has the one where it's down, forward, X and triangle together, and it's sick. You like grab the opponent's ankle and just kind of like slam them a bit like the Hulk. His axle kicks are really good. Certainly more effective in Tekken 2, just because of the health bar again, but they're still pretty fucking sick. Where you can go forward, down, forward, circle, 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 and then you can also axle kick them on the way up. To be fair, I think that was a much harder to do in Tekken 2. So now I think of that, that's actually an advantage for this game. Really good character, man. I'd still put Bruce and Lee ahead of him because they have extra speed, I feel like. But Heihachi, like, is just a great measure of the gold standard of fighting characters in Tekken games. Like I said, he's consistently good. And I feel like he was much better than Kazuya in Tekken 1. Kazuya took that title back in Tekken 2. Then, pretty much from every game onwards, Heihachi's been better than Kazuya, in my opinion. And definitely, it's close, but I'd rank him ahead this time. You have to kind of compare them two, because obviously they share a lot of moves. Armor King and King. Next up. I'm going to rank King first, because everything I say about King, because King is the standard, Armor King's the palette swap. King, everything I say about King applies to Armor King. Whereas I could say a lot about Armor King, but then add a lot to King. So we'll rank King first. 100% King is one of the best characters in this. He was my main in Tekken 7. I'm probably Tekken. No, I think Tekken 6 was Lee actually. Or Julia. Yeah, he was my main in Tekken 7. And he's, again, like Heihachi, just consistently strong. But yeah, there's a lot more characters that are in God tier in this game than Tekken 2. I would put King in that category because it just adds so many more chain throws than Tekken 2. You have like a few in Tekken 2, you have so many. Like from this game onwards, really. Oh well, Tekken 3 onwards, I guess. You have a shit ton. Like, there's more pages of fucking King grapples than a lot of characters have in the command list in its entirety. He's just so good. And he has a lot more. You know, whenever I use a character, I'll kind of go and practice through all of them. But there almost always tends to be about 10, 15 moves/combos that you kind of hone in on, you rotate round with them, and you decide on them. With King, a lot of them ones that aren't grapples, that are like standard combos, they were kind of added around this time in this game. So I think he takes a big jump from Tekken 1 and 2. I still like him in Tekken 1 and 2. But King's always been one of my favourite characters to use, but that's mainly for games after Tekken 2. I don't think he's quite as effective in the first couple. He's really strong in this game, man. I'm just kind of umming and ahhing where to put him. I think I'm going to put him ahead of Heihachi, Kazuya, Brian, and Bruce. I'm going to put him behind Lee. I'd say King is definitely in my top 5 in this game. Armor King doesn't have all the moves that King has. He does have some differences, however, they started going a bit more this game. The differences have kind of helped him, almost. It's tempted to put AK above King. I don't think it can, because I think King just has the extra grapples and stuff. But definitely there's not much between them. I'm going to put Armor King immediately behind King. Which makes sense, but you know, I don't know, they only have maybe like 80% of the same moveset. Then they kind of differ. King definitely has way more moves than Armor King. He's more of a prominent character, so they're bound to do that. However, you know, even that 20% difference could put Armor King behind Bruce or Heihachi, for example. However, he's still fucking strong. Really strong. He has a couple of like extra grapples. Variants in King, like when you get the person, you press X and square and X together, and you kind of lift the opponent in the air. You can then turn that into a tombstone pile driver, which King doesn't have, which is always fucking cool. I prefer Armor King's standing combos, to be honest, than King. I just think King has such an advantage in terms of grapples and sidestep attacks as well, to be honest. Although Armor King has some of the best sidestep attacks, King has the best ones. You can sidestep into grapples and shit and really chain it. Yeah, I think this would be the general consensus for me in kind of every Tekken game, to be honest, guys. I'd rank both of them highly, but I think King's better in all of them. But I think this is probably the closest game. Like they are in terms of like effectiveness. Gonna move on quicker now. Julia and Michelle are ranked together. Where's Michelle? Oh yeah. Everything said in Tekken 2 applies, and then some. She was my main in Tekken 2. Julia was my main in Tekken 5, and probably 6. So these are two of my favourite characters. 100% probably the... Oh, I don't know, Jun's up there. I was going to say, like, probably like the best female character in terms of, like, effectiveness for me. Yeah, I don't know. They probably get the edge over Jun. I'm going to put Michelle third. I actually do drop Armor King back behind her. I'm going to put Julia just behind Michelle. Purely because I just prefer Michelle, because I'm an OG. They have some different moves, to be fair, but not that much difference. I feel like 95% of the moveset's just the same. Julia probably has extra moves, actually, to be honest, so my head probably says Julia should be ahead. Like I said, I just prefer Michelle. I don't know. Yeah, you know what? I've got to play with me head. Julia's slightly ahead, I think. Although I'd always pick Michelle over her, just for preference. The fact that juggling's slightly easier on this game, it kind of works against them. Like, they are two of the best juggle characters. Juggling was much harder in Tekken 2, but they found it really easy compared to most characters. Well, I say they. Michelle was only in that game. Michelle found it really easy in that game compared to other characters, so she was obviously rated higher in that game in that regard. Although she's actually gone up a tier here. That was just how good Kazuya was. They're really good. They have strong combos when rising, when crouching, against opponents on the floor, which is always important, which is something King is probably the best at. So shout out to King for that. The Tenet combos I find really simple to do. The inputs are not hard at all, which is always something it's really big. It's the same with King, same with Yoshimitsu. They have pretty good sidestep moves as well, Michelle and Julia. They have a lot of launches as well in the air. Probably do have more launches than the likes of King, but maybe not like Laura Lee, for example. Just solid all-around characters, man. They also, when paired together in the tag, they have a really good, if you pair certain combinations of characters together, they have like specialist tagging grapples. If you like grapple while holding R1, I think it is, and they'll do like a special animation. And I always really loved Michelle and Julia's. Probably not the most badass one, but I always really loved that one. Yeah, it's really good characters, man. They definitely deserve to be in God tier. Anna and Nina, I don't think are quite as effective as in Tekken 1 and 2, to be honest, because, again, it's the same thing. Like, the extra fluid characters, quick, fast, sharp kicks, really quick damage characters, in terms of frame rates, tended to thrive in Tekken 1 and 2, so I had Anna and Nina pretty high, I think. I'm going to put them in great. They're still really fucking good, to be honest. Like, they're still really effective. However, and again, like, in an actual list, they probably should be higher than this. I've never been that great with them. I'm okay, I'm useful with them. But I've never been that great. Definitely compared to Tekken 2, I feel like there's not much difference between them, to be honest. I feel like in Tekken 2, Nina had extra chain combos. Off the top of my head, I feel like they have largely the same moveset. In fact, Anna probably has the better unique moves. So I think this time I'm going to put Anna above Nina. Yeah, it's a bit controversial, but hey ho. They still deserve to be great because they are so fast. It's an advantage, but you don't actually have a lot of their combos. Say, for example, you block 3 of the 4 hits and they get through 1. You kind of need to hit all of them to do significant damage because they are really fast kicks and punches. It kind of substitutes power for that. So I don't know. They might have like a 5-6 hit combo that's like it's all 7 damage, but if you get all of them, you're doing like 40 damage. But if you just get 1 of fruit 2 through, it doesn't really do too much. So not quite as good as in Tekken 2, where they have more advantage in that regard, purely because you have less HP. However, they are still very useful and still definitely deserve to be great. Just a bit lower down than they were in Tekken 2, in my opinion. Devil, not much more to say. It's just Angel. Just looks cooler, so I'm going to put them higher. They have pretty much the same moveset. They probably have a couple of differences here and there, but nothing that I recall right now, which leads me to think it's nothing particularly notable. I don't think it really matters if you get them random, whether you get Devil or Angel. Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't be like I'd get Angel and be like, oh, I shot Devil. It makes no difference, really. True Ogre and Ogre. I like how this tier did kind of put all these characters like side by side. Just like on my all Tekken character list, because Ogre and True Ogre are only in Tekken 3, Tekken Tag 1, and Tekken Tag 2, I've kind of already done this and ranked this. I mainly thought of Tekken 3 and Tag 1 when I was doing this that video, because although I played Tekken Tag 2, I didn't play a lot of it, to be quite honest, so I don't know if they differed there. But on this game, they have a couple of differences, of course. True Ogre, most notably, can do fire, standing fire, and flying fire. But I don't actually find it that good. And True Ogre just has ginormous hitbox. Probably the biggest hitbox in this game. In fact, by far the biggest hitbox in this game, I'd say. All things considered, I always felt like True Ogre was just a bit too much on the screen. It just took up a bit too much space, and it was kind of difficult to see what the fuck was going on half the time. So I never actually liked using them a huge amount in that regard. And I'm going to make Ogre higher. They're that close that I think I'm going to put them consecutively. I'm going to put them behind Yoshimitsu. I still think they deserve to be great. But I'm tempted to split them, actually. Definitely, I'm going to make True. I was tempted to put True Ogre in good then. Like at the top, but not quite great. However, the forward triangle attack, he has the mad ass like snake on one of his arms. That animation was so excuse me, it was so fucking cool that like that pushed into great, to be honest. Yeah, the good characters, I just feel like, and definitely like the makeup of Ogre and True Ogre is that they're basically an amalgamation of all the unlockable characters, like the sub-bosses for the main playable characters in Tekken 2. So you have like Lee's kicks, his infinite kicks. You have a lot of moves from back. You know what? Actually, the more I think about them, the more I'm putting them much higher. Because I just remember a couple of moves they have, and it's like, wow. I'm going to put them there. It's behind Devil and Angel. Because I always preferred Devil and Angel. They're kind of comparable, of course, because there's your Tekken 2 bosses and your Tekken 3 bosses. They also have twin pistons, don't they? Oh, mine, yeah. The more I think about it, the more I'm bro, wow, this was a real change. I feel like I made a judgment too fast on these then. I think more and more, oh, they have this move, they have this move, oh yeah, they have that move. They had Axle Kick when rising, they had Twin Pistons which you could chain into another one. Deal like twice as much as normal Twin Pistons would do. I think they had, I don't know if they have Rising Uppercut actually. Like jumping uppercut that Kazuya has. But the infinite kicks adds a lot as well. It's not quite as OP in this game because you can sidestep. And you can't really sidestep as well in Tekken 2. But yeah, they're still pretty effective. characters. I feel like Trioga's, the sheer size of him works against him. It doesn't really change with the hitboxes, to be honest. He has no bigger hitbox than Kuma, probably, or Jack. But it just takes a bit too much up on the screen. However, he still deserves to just follow Ogre, you know. I don't think you should put a character bisecting them. Onto the Jacks. We got P-Jack, Gun-Jack, and Jack 2. I'm going to rank them all consecutively because it makes sense. Gun-Jack, in my opinion, is the best of all of them. His unique moves is just so cool, man. Like, Gun-Jack will always be my favourite of the Jacks, and I'm going to put him in great. Right at the bottom, to be honest, because I'm not quite as good with him as some of the faster characters. However, God, his moves are just so cool, man. And you do back, and you do like the cannon punch where his arms kind of move to his side, and his hands are like up in front of his chest, and he kind of just like non-stop punches them back, a bit like Android 16. He has all the moves of Jack 2 and P-Jack pretty much, and he's kind of like them two combined. He can fly like P-Jack. Yeah, he's just fucking cool, man. And I think he deserves something great. P-Jack, I feel like of all the characters here, so I ranked P-Jack below Jack 2 last time. Look at all the characters in this game. P-Jack probably got the most additional moves, and it makes him pretty fucking effective. Still prefer Gun-Jack, because Gun-Jack's like the best of P-Jack and Jack 2, like I said. However, I'm going to put P-Jack in great, then I'm going to put Jack 2 in good. Actually behind Roger and Alex. I think Jack 2 is significantly worse than both other Jacks in this game. You know what? I'm actually going to put them all in good. Yeah, I don't think... I still feel like they're significantly outclassed by Yoshimitsu. Maybe Kunimitsu should be higher. No, I don't think so, actually. Yoshi has huge advantages over her. Yeah, I'm going to put them like that. P-Jack has extra moves. He has the down square, triangle. He has a couple of moves for Heihachi in this game, actually. It's weird. Still has his flight, of course, but he has a couple of extra like specialist grapples as well. I feel like Jack 2 gets no extra moves, to be quite honest. He's kind of the same. Although they do have the... I think they all have the move where you can kind of wind up. You kind of do 360s on the controller and keep it going, and it kind of charges, and then you press square, and you kind of move forward and do like a little chop. And that can actually like one-shot. It's the only move that can one-shot in this game, but you have to charge it significantly, and you probably just never pull it off. It's hard enough to even do on a standing opponent. I've never managed it more than once or twice, to be honest. P-Jack actually has a move where you go down, square, and circle, and he kind of does a miniature version. He'll kind of move forward and chop. That does about half damage. That's actually the move I'm on it. It does like half damage. Yeah, the move that does full damage, you don't end up chopping. You do the motion like I said. So apologies for that. I was mistaken. You do the motion like I said, the 360, but then you press like square, and he actually just kind of like punches. It ends up like Paul's super punch or Wang's super punch. There's not a chop. That super punch does all the damage. But he also has, like I said, one that does like half damage. I don't think Gun-Jack has that, but it's still edge Gun-Jack slightly ahead. However, I think this is one of the closest pairings of like characters that are very similar in the whole video, to be honest. Gun-Jack to P-Jack. They're very, very close. And I definitely think like there's a bit of a gap then between P-Jack and Jack 2, as marked by the fact I've got Roger and Alex between them. Law, as always, is very strong and is going right up and great. The question is now, where do we put him? I'm going to put Law. I don't think he's quite as OP as Tekken 2 in comparison to other characters, but he's still really good. I'm going to put him... there, I think, behind Lee, King, Julia, and Michelle. Same advantages as past game. He's really fast, fucking incredibly OP. His extra moves are pretty sick. He has additional times where he can somersault when he's on the ground. He can sweep opponents off the feet and do that slide. Some of his grapples are cool. There's actually martial and forest law in this game. Or is it just forest? Because that is forest. I mean, they have the same moves. So I always preferred martial because again, I'm an OG. That's why I prefer Michelle to Julia and I don't know. Mokujin to Tetchujin, for example, and Kuma to Panda. But yeah, there's not much more to say about it. I feel like Law's kind of the same in every game. It's consistently strong because he has these fast moves and shit. Next up we have Paul. Paul is going right at the top. I fucking love Paul. Again, like King, like Lee, like Law, like Michelle. He's one of them characters that I'm good with in every Tekken, and he's consistently strong. He's probably the best character of the playable characters in Tekken 1. He's one of the best in Tekken 2. I think I put Paul second, behind only Kazuya. And he's going in at number 1 here, for now at least. He has every good move he has remains in this game. They kind of nerfed him actually in Tekken 7 to piss me off. But he's still good in that. But yeah, they took a couple of moves. He has extra ones in this game. This is the first game I think where they brought in the move where, of course, you can normally do down, forward, triangle. That charge punch do a lot of damage, particularly in a counter. But you could hold down and then press down, forward, triangle. Hit opponent's feet, knock them in the air, then you could do down, circle, triangle, and that would do significant damage. Or you could hold down, forward, triangle, square. Well, he kind of has an alternate one now, and from this game onwards. It's one of my favourite attacks where you go down, back. Then if it gets is it X triangle square or X triangle, and then you can do the down, circle, triangle. He kind of sways back because they brought back sway into this game. Lee, as well, as one of the characters that benefits from that most. And it's just so good that combo because you could back sway out of the opponent's reach, and then normally that means they've overextended and you could get that attack off, and it dealt significant damage. Also, Paul's sidesteps were really fucking good. You could sidestep into the triangle. His triangle moves. It's probably my favourite setup of Paul's. He still has a super punch. It's not quite as OP as in Tekken 1 and Tekken 2 because you have a greater health bar. On this game as well, of course, it's worth remembering when you could verse his opponent. People always do this. Why wouldn't you do it? You could set the health from 100% to 150 and give them extra health. So the OP moves hold quite a bit less weight. But Paul's still fucking good, and I feel compared to other characters that are consistently great, like Michelle, Julia, Lee, Law, he probably has the most improvements in this game actually. The exception there, I'd say, is King. I think King's improved a huge amount in this game from Tekken 1 and 2. But Paul, as ever, is fucking good, man. Jun, again, is strong. I'm really strong with Jun in every game. I would rank her amongst the highest here. I'm going to put her behind Julia and Michelle, because Julia and Michelle are my female main, but ahead of Law, AK, Bruce, for example. Jun, all her good moves that she has in Tekken 2, she retains. She has some really good launches. She has a chain combo that you can vary 3 different ways that I've mentioned in the Tekken 2 video. That still exists. She has a couple of extra specialist throws. Just really, really strong. She has the down crouch, X circle kick, but you can also do the standing one. The launches are important because, like I said, this game you can juggle a lot more effectively. Jun kind of has a hack juggle it's pretty hard to do. You need a lot more specific timing in this game than future Tekken juggles. But she does have a variant of one that I'm not even going to begin to start recounting inputs because I don't remember, and I don't want to do a disservice by getting it wrong. But she has a juggle that, if timed correctly, can do 3/4 damage, which I think, after one that P-Jack has, is the most effective juggle in this game, actually. Just really, really strong character, Jun, in every Tekken game, as always. There's no different in this one. Jin and Xiao Yu remain. I'm going to rank Xiao Yu first. Xiao Yu is one of my least favourite characters. Just cartwheels about. I've said all this on the all Tekken character tier list. Like, I've just never liked it. I don't mind the character. Character kind of serves a purpose. Kind of cutesy, like harmless. Do you know what I mean? But in terms of the fighting style, like, oh, she's shit, and she's hard to fight against as well. In the hands of a good player, she's probably good, but I don't really know too many combos. I do like her up, square triangle, square, then triangle attack. That's pretty good. She also has a couple of decent launches, but you press buttons a lot, and I kind of mash a bit with Xiao Yu because I just never really bothered to learn her. I didn't really like her. She'll turn her back randomly and shit, and do little shitty little kicks that, like, you're mashing buttons and you're like, where the fuck's your combos, Xiao Yu? Xiao just does like little 1 and 2 hit combos rather than like chains and stuff. She cartwheels about a lot. She'll just do fucking forward rolls and stuff, and it's like, what are you doing? Just fucking hit them, Xiao. So Xiao Yu, I'm gonna put low down with Panda. Ahead of Panda, to be fair, but she's just in okay for me. You know, I'm gonna put Panda and Chicken. Panda's that. I hate Panda the most, probably, in this game. I'm putting Xiao Yu there as well, actually. Yeah, they don't deserve to be in the same class as Lei, Gamri, Unknown, even the fucking mirror characters that are just kind of like default. Yeah, you're going low. Jin Kazama, if you watched my All Tekken tier list that I've released immediately before this, you'll see that I kind of spoiled this to a degree. The question is, where am I going to put him? I put Jin pretty low down, kind of average on that. I hate Jin from Tekken 4 onwards. He basically ends up doing like a default karate style. Kind of a knockoff Ryu anyway, isn't he? Let's face it. But particularly with that moveset, I never really liked his moves much. When he changes, Devil Jin kind of is a lot closer to the Jin of Tekken 3 and Tekken Tag 1. In this game and Tekken 3, he's basically a cross between Kazuya and Jun. He kind of has half Kazuya's moves, half Jun's moves. A couple of unique moves here and there, but he's basically a mix of them too. And they are two of my favourite characters. I mentioned this when I ranked Jin. The only reason I put him like kind of average on the all Tekken tier list is because of his performances in Tekken 3 and Tekken Tag 1. I think in both games he's the best character. I don't think I'm going to make his own tier list. I don't think he's that far ahead of all of these in God tier. But considering he's one of my least favourite characters, in terms of design and everything, to be honest, I always prefer Kazuya and Heihachi. Despite all this, I think Jin is the best character in Tekken Tag. He's so good, man. The combinations between Jun's attacks and Kazuya's really complement each other as well. You could do like the down X circle to launch him in the air, and then you could do like twin pistons or the raising dragon fist, or like Kazuya's jumping up forward circle axle kick spin that spins. Every advantage that Jun has in terms of that large juggle chain as well, Jin has. He also has the charge attacks that Jun doesn't have, that Kazuya has, where you can do the back square circle, is spinning like lightning screw uppercut. He has that. He's agile, he has really good sidestep moves. He was kind of fresh then as well. Like, I think one of the reasons I don't like Jin and the concept and the design of Jin is because the focus there was just overkill. They focused on him way too long, and they kind of moved away from it in Tekken 7. The story was a bit more about, went back to Kazuya and Heihachi, which I really loved, and because I'm an OG. And it just been too long. It'd been like Tekken 3, Tekken 4, Tekken 5, Tekken 6, all Jin. The focus is on Jin. Kind of got a bit old. I mean, the whole Devil Within thing was good, but they'd kind of done that with Kazuya already anyway. But in terms of, and as well, he dropped this moveset. He dropped the Kazama style, Mishima style moveset in a lot of games, and kind of went his own way. Just generic karate, which, and this isn't a dig and karate. I love karate. You know, Ryu's my favorite character. Street Fighter 2. But that's it. I've seen it all before. I liked his. I don't know. I was just probably salty because Kazuya and Jun are two of my best characters, two of my favorite characters of all time. He was a mix of both of them, a perfect blend of both as well. They took the best moves, like standing combos from both, put them all into one neat little package, and he was just really fucking good, man. And deserves the spice at number one. I don't think there's a huge amount between each and every one of these characters in King of Iron Fist, to be honest. I feel like on any given day, I could be better with Brian, who's at the bottom of this tier, than Jin, who's at the top. Yeah, all of them are really fucking effective, but if I'm looking at this now, and I think I've got this perfect, all these characters are amongst the best, and they are the ones that I would lean towards being most happy at. Using, say if I played like a tournament, and it is team battle, pick your 8 best characters. It'd be 8 of these, to be honest. Although I wouldn't mind Devil, Ogre, Yoshimitsu, for example. These would be the characters I'd rotate between. So, wow, it was a really long one. There's a lot of characters in this game, to be fair. It was every character in the series to this point. I probably rambled a bit too long, guys. Apologies. But I'm going to wrap it up now by a quick read-off, as always. So, we got King of Iron Fist, God tier. All the characters who are the best. Going in order from best to worst, we have Jin Kazama, Paul Phoenix, Lee Chaolan, King, the second actually, just King, Julia Chang, Michelle Chang, Jun Kazama, I think it's Forest Law there, but it's Forest Law / Martial Law basically. Armor King, Bruce Irvin, Heihachi Mishima, Kazuya Mishima, and Brian Fury. Then onto Great. We have Ogre, True Ogre, Wang Jinrei, Devil, Angel, Becto Son, Hwarang, Eddie Gordo, Tiger Jackson, Anna Williams, Nina Williams, Yoshimitsu. Quick shout, by the way, this is probably my favourite Yoshimitsu design, actually. That or Tekken 2. He looks fucking weird in the new ones. I love these ones, the OG ones. Anyway, on to good tier. After Yoshimitsu, we have Gunjack, P-Jack, Prototype Jack, of course, Roger, Alex, Jack 2, Kunimitsu, and Kuma. And in OK, we have Lei Wulong, Ganryu, Unknown, Mokujin, Tetsujin. And finally in Chicken, like the worst tier, D tier, we have Ling Xiao Yu and Panda. So that's it for this one, guys. I have nothing else planned off the bat right now. May even start doing the odd thing that is non-gaming related, like I said. Like, I don't know, I might find one where it's like the best boxers or the best rappers or the best football teams or the best tennis players ever, or some shit like that. I don't know. I'll have a browse. So let me know if there's anything like that that's kind of like different areas you want me to do a tier list on. I don't know. I might do like best TV shows, for example. I don't know. Best seasons of The Simpsons. I could have a browse. Fuck, I'm definitely going to do that. I'm going to do like best Harry Potter films and books soon, I think. I'll do stuff like that. So that'd be a quick one to do. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Still let me know like any other ideas of like gaming ones that you want me to do. Like, I don't know. Can't think of an example, but you know, throw them out and I'll try and get around to them. I hope you enjoyed this one. This is one of the last Tekken ones I'll do, I think. I think I might do one for Tekken 1, but I don't think I'm going to do one for any of the Tekken games, to be quite honest. But I really enjoyed this one. This is one of the best Tekken games, one of my favourite Tekken games, a game I still play to this day and enjoy. And yeah, this is, in my opinion, if you're new to the game, the order and the rank of the best characters. So give them a try. Definitely try Jin. He's fucking sick. For now, anyway, in this series.